Welcome to the third episode of the Marketing Talks podcast. This podcast has been created to support the community members of the Marketing Talks community. And today we're going to be talking about Arabic content and cultural relevance in the GCC. We have our amazing guests, Emad and Mira Nuwayhed.
Hello.
And our awesome co-host, my ex-colleague, Badr Shahin.
Hello.
We'll start with a quick introduction for everyone. Badr, can you tell us more about yourself?
Where do I start?
السريع.
Okay. So, been in marketing for about 15 years between Jordan, Kuwait, and the UAE. Worked across conventional businesses as well as more established tech and early stage startups. And now I'm exploring my next challenge. So,
Awesome.
pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure
I'm
meeting
co-hosting
you.
this
Thank
episode
you. Thank
for
you
today.
For this. Yes.
Mira.
So obviously the name is Mira Nuwayhed. I work as a startup studio partner at Shalhoub's Greenhouse. I have been working in the startup industry for the past, I don't want to give out my age, but I think it was 9 years now. I've worked with a variety of startups up to, I think, 6, from a very, very early stage up to Series A and B.
Wow.
And I'm currently supporting Mohtawa in their growth journey.
Wow. And now we're going to have the star of today's episode, Emad.
Hi, my name is Emad. I'm the founder and CEO of Mohtawa. I've been in the marketing and advertising industry for over the past 12 years, where I worked with regional and global ad agencies at the capacity of head of social, digital, and content. So content was everything I had been doing for the past 12 years. So I live it, breathe it, I love it. And especially when I decided that I wanted to do something on my own, I wanted to combine my 3 passions: content, culture, and tech. So
حبيت content,
محتوى.
culture, and tech, and hence محتوى. Amazing.
He summarized Mohtawa
Makes sense.
basically in a sense.
عن جد يا خلص
Very
سكرنا
sharp.
الحلقة خلينا نمشي على البيت إذا هيك. No, really, Anja, thank you so much. It's a pleasure having
Thank
you
you for
both.
having us.
Thank
I
you
know
for
it's a
having
very tight schedule, and coming here is alhamdulillah إنه قدرنا نجي.
Dubai's traffic is beautiful.
I know. So I will start with Badr. You have some questions for our guests today.
I guess we can start with Emad. If you can tell us about Mohtawa.
So, like I said, Mohtawa is a culturally representative content platform. The idea behind it is we want to empower every business that wants to connect with the MENA audience to go to Mohtawa and either find readily available stock content that looks like us, that represents us.
Literally looks like us.
Exactly.
It's very important.
Big problem.
That is authentic, that is local, that is generated by the local creative community that we have. And in case the businesses like the work of the creative, they can then hire them on freelance basis.
Nice. So you're facilitating jobs as well.
So I'm facilitating passive income, active income, and more importantly, I'm building all of this with AI technologies that help empower both the creative and the brands to find what they want and generate it with local authentic content by the creatives.
So it complements literally what Marketing Talks community is all about. We need to talk after this with both of you.
Definitely.
It's definitely a big problem to solve.
Yes.
So I'm guessing, if you can tell us how you came across that being a problem and then how it became your solution.
Definitely. So every marketing person in this region knows how much of a struggle it is today, either to find authentic stock content because either that's
someone Saudi that actually looks Saudi.
That is who is Saudi in the first place,
Yes.
right? We want Saudis who are Saudis to represent the region or to represent the country, and similarly in the UAE and the rest of the region. So finding stock content is a challenge. Finding creatives is heavily dependent on your personal network, finding people through either Instagram or WhatsApp.
Tag me in every story so I can retag for content in Jeddah.
100%. So back in 2020, I had faced this challenge personally when I was working with one of the biggest brands in the region. We were working for a campaign for Saudi National Day. We launched the campaign. In that campaign, I was born and raised in Saudi. So I know how Saudis look like. I know how the entire culture is in
You're
Saudi.
at Jeddah like me.
I was born and raised in Jeddah. I lived in Jeddah for 19 years and Riyadh for 1 year. So in total, 20 years of my life.
People like us, we can tell who's from Jeddah, who's from Riyadh, who's from Khobar, who's from Qasim. Like
I can tell from a look, like
from the
literally
looks,
from a single look. And just even though I really know how the people look, we needed a frame for someone who's Saudi in that video. Didn't get it in the shoot, so we were looking online between Shutterstock and Getty Images. We found one, we incorporated in the video, thinking it will pass. Literally within the first minute or of the campaign going live, the Saudi audience created the backlash campaign on the brand.
Wow.
And immediately, and one of the comments that stuck with me was, out of 36 million Saudis, couldn't you find a single Saudi to be featured in the video?
So relevant.
And done. That was it. It's that comment stuck with me until a year later when I decided, you know what? I'm leaving everything corporate and I'm going to focus on Mohtawa. Took me a couple of months until I built the concept. I built everything. And then it was only last April that I decided I'm leaving everything. May started, and that was the journey.
May passed last year, 2024.
Last year,
What a leap.
Wow. عن جد what a leap. عن جد high leap of faith. مثل ما بيقولوا.
It's been a leap, a big leap of faith, yes.
لا بس it's amazing. يعني انت هلا your target audience is who?
So Mohtawa's target audience is every brand that has a marketing function that wants to communicate to its audience. And today, marketing has become as much of an important function in any company, either for building the brand or even doing sales, as anything else. So every brand that wants to build anything from campaigns, social content, do anything for internal communication or even presentations. These are the people that we want to connect with.
So Anta, you're talking about visuals, videos, audio.
So everything visual and audio content.
Oh,
so the
very
idea
nice.
today is that Mohtawa offers photo, videos, and audio. But in the near future, we're also accommodating for every content format that is inclusive of AR filters, spatial,
Nice.
and 3D elements as well.
Wow.
So whether you want it بالعربي, whether you want it as stock, it's available. Whether you want to create it, the community is here available for it as well.
Wow, this is very impressive. طيب. I'm pretty sure this story is what let Mira and her team decide to collaborate with you. So do you want us to tell us a little bit about this journey?
Sure, of course. So as before we went live, Emad was telling the story of how we connected due to a mutual friend. And I remember the first time he gave me a call to explain what the concept was, and he was pitching to me. And I immediately said yes. So
because you know the pain point.
So yes, of course. هلا نحن when we are vetting any founder that's pitching to us in the greenhouse, we have 3 criteria that we look at. We have the founder fit, we have the concept fit, and our core investment thesis. So, and Emad obviously fit, like he ticked all 3 boxes. So this is why it was a yes for us. So in terms of founder fit, with Emad's experience and background, his network, his connections, and his insights that he got from the industry, he was the perfect fit. He was the perfect person to build that because he is relevant to the industry. And then in terms of concept fit and core investment theses, we obviously do our own research, we obviously do our own due diligence, and being a part of the Shalhoub group, we have access to a lot of brands who obviously operate regionally, but most of them are international brands. So based on the research, we were able to identify, this is indeed a very high pain point, that is actually causing problems for brands, especially in the past maybe 5 to 6 years. Content has become, I love this sentence, we included it in one of our pitch decks, which is content has been promoted to emperor. Yes, content is king, but now it's even stronger and more powerful. Yes. So knowing from myself, I connect with a brand immediately if I see a content that's relevant to me, whether on social media or ads or whatever.
Relevant to the culture of the brand.
Exactly. Yes. And don't insult me and try to copy my culture. Create something original.
It's like if someone is doing chocolate hummus.
Please don't get me started. Please don't get me started, please.
The worst kind of appropriation.
It's a trigger for me. This combination of words is a trigger for me. And obviously, the market is very bullish. It's if you see the numbers of the value of the content markets, it's in the billions, and this is currently. So it's expected to, I think, extend in the next 5 to 7 years. So it shows the importance of
in the region.
Exactly. Yes. And also, fun fact, actually it's not fun, it's a sad fact, اللي هو إنه us as a region, we spend a lot of money, and if you look at the international spending on content and stock content, we have a big chunk, I think like 20%.
So globally speaking, the advertising spend last year for content specifically
for
created
purchasing content or for creating content?
Both.
Okay.
has been $50 billion,
Wow.
out of which Middle East contributes about 20%. So out of the 50, we have about 8 billion attributed to the Middle East and North Africa, and the available content for us in the globally is less than 0.17%.
Wow.
Yeah. So this obviously, when you see that there is a lot of demand but there is lack of supply, it obviously shows or indicates an opportunity.
No, there's a
market
problem and we have a
opportunity.
solution.
Exactly,
for it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So based on these criteria that we usually use for everyone who's pitching, obviously, unfortunately, not everyone meets these three criteria, but based on that, Emad was a yes for us.
Just a boy, high five.
Yeah.
Wash Emad.
And
Wash.
I can't believe it's been a year.
It's
Wow.
been almost a year now, a few months into a year.
Wow.
What a journey.
Wow, عن جد. In this short time you managed to يعني grow. صار لك اسم بالبلد. محتوى is becoming known. We finally find something and okay, the pain point is being solved. خلاص, like I'm not gonna have to get a Shutterstock image of a white guy wearing a thobe and غطرة or a shmagh. And I know. Look at his face. We both are ex-advertising as well, and we know يعني, the pain of that. So,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I think it's definitely the right time, because now as we focus more and more on content, whether it is for paid or organic, I think it's very important. If you can produce as a brand, if you can produce your own original content with the right talent from this market, then at least showcase
Find the right
culturally relevant. So yeah, you're definitely solving a big problem. So
we're actually even embarking on an era where content has, like, a brand will have to produce a lot more content
Absolutely.
to be more relevant and more in the now. So
yes.
how do you accommodate such big change with AI and with the need for more content to be produced by everyone? So this is why we also believe that this is the right time for us to do something about it, to provide the opportunities not just for us as a company, but for the entire creative community that we have.
Very nice.
حتى to be honest, this is off. يعني it's not like a sponsored ad because I'm mentioning a brand. Recently, the campaign of Flowered, have you seen it in Saudi?
I love
for
it.
Valentine's.
I love it. They're actually a client.
We relate to it a lot because we grew up in Saudi, and we know that Valentine's was a big no-no to be celebrated back in Saudi. It's like Feb 12 to 15, 16, flowers would be only sold in the black market. No one would be allowed to wear red. I mean, it was a very big taboo.
Yes, and expressing love was
Really?
not. Yes.
La. You can go to jail if you're a guy wearing red walking on the
100%.
street.
Wow, okay.
100%. And now to see the shift that is
The
happening,
cultural shift that's changing,
and the acceptance of the love expression in the Saudi market, that campaign for me hit the spot head on.
Very culturally relevant.
Also transforming at a very, very fast.
That's why it's relevant.
scale.
لأنه it's transforming, and people like our generation who grew up in that side of the back of the Saudi, and it's like we know that this is not okay. We never celebrated Valentine or any other holiday. It was only Eid and Eid. We were not allowed to. There was no other holidays, even in school. Like خلاص Eid and Eid. Maximum Lebanese school, عيد الاستقلال اللبناني, we have a flag and this is it. But يعني having this openness in the culture, the shift in the culture in the past 5-8 years, the change has started happening. And the fact that a brand like this created something that is very to today's culture of the Gen Millennials, not even Gen Z, because I think they are
Gen
more
X.
يعني the older generation, people like us who are still like, do I need to get an actual flower? I actually find flowers now.
So it was actually one of the things that I was surprised with when I visited Saudi after a few years of not having been there.
Same thing, cultural shock.
I was shocked. I'm born and raised in Jeddah. I was shocked walking in Saudi and finding how socially acceptable it was for people to reach out to you and talk to you, either if it was for sales or for anything else. Back in the day, it was either a man reaching out to you or a man not reaching out to you at all, especially if you're with family. Today, no, that dialogue, that engagement between people,
we can have a conversation,
and as they still promote that in the most respectful ways. So how do you translate that into your new marketing campaigns? This is one of the biggest challenges that all brands in the region are facing today whenever they want to dial into the Saudi culture. This is why the agency who developed the campaign for Flowered, kudos to them. they have
And
done a
Jad
brilliant
kudos.
job.
They understood the actual market,
Yeah.
and they understood the cultural shift between 5-10 years ago and today. You know, the change.
Honestly,
and
I
whatever.
think this topic is very interesting because this is part of what we're trying to do in Mohtawa. يعني, unfortunately now if you go and Google or you look on any other stock content platform, you search for Dubai, the first thing you're going to see is either a
Burj Khalifa,
desert
Burj Al
or
Arab.
Burj Khalifa and Burj Al
And
Arab.
camels.
100%. So it's this is not who we are as
Also
MENA
Saudi,
region.
by the way.
And Saudi
they
as
wouldn't
well.
show. They wouldn't
Yeah.
show except Burj Al Faisaliya, Burj Al Mamlaka, Nafur Al
Exactly,
Jadda. Maybe
exactly.
if they even mention
Yeah.
Nafur Al
Yeah,
Jadda,
yeah,
it
yeah.
became an old icon.
Yeah.
And a little bit of the desert. Although there's a lot. I mean,
It
guys,
doesn't
do
show
you know
the,
how much greenery there
the
is in
depth.
Saudi?
Yeah.
The north is it's snowing now in the north of Saudi.
Yeah, absolutely. The Winter Olympic Games is happening in Saudi in a few years.
Exactly,
So
in 2 years, right?
So this is honestly this is at the core of the mission, which is reflecting the true culture of the Arab
Amazing.
world that is very rich, that is very old, that is so interesting, honestly.
Rich in food, by the way.
Rich
and
in everything.
intolerance, because one of the things that people don't get to talk about a lot is today, if whether you go to Saudi or you go to anywhere in the GCC, you will not find a single race speaking together. You'll find people from all over the
Yeah.
world engaging, interacting, and with the utmost respect. Very
مضيافين. مضيافين.
hospitable
Yeah.
and tolerant, and all of that are things that have not been communicated.
Yeah.
So for me, one of the things that I also want to hopefully address on Mohtawa is whenever you want to communicate to the expat community as well in this region, it's not going to be the fake and staged content of a Saudi wearing, and there is someone in a suit next to him showing him on an iPad what is done. No, show me the entire room. Show me who's actually in the room.
How we invite you to the houses, we eat
Exactly,
together, where we have
exactly.
kapsa, we break bread, whatever you...
Exactly. So talk to me about the coffee culture that we have here in the region. There is nothing about it.
No one knows that there's differences between the Saudi coffee and the Emirati coffee and the Jordanian coffee, and like they literally don't know. They don't know what we eat on a regular basis in this region. They think that as Lebanese also that we just eat barbecue and hummus every single day.
Hummus is Lebanese.
Now we're gonna have this debate. Palestinian, Jordanian, or the Lebanese.
مهم لنا من منطقتنا.
From the region,
بيناتنا
from all
نحن
region.
بنضل
نحن نتخانق
نحن figure it out.
Fair,
Figure it
fair.
out.
أنا وخيي
Fair
على
play.
ابن عمي وأنا ابن عمي على الغريب.
Exactly.
لا seriously يعني it's very interesting what you both are working on as both entities عن جد يعني we definitely need this in the market, and I think growth wise
Yeah, I'd like to know
there's a lot of
how has the year been for you so far? You know, what are your plans going forward in terms of growth?
So last year has been very interesting because literally with nothing but a little bit of encouragement, if you want, from a few friends here and there, the support of the greenhouse, and then just speaking to the people out in the market that, hey, we're doing this. I have been extremely fortunate, and I'm very grateful for every connection I have, because somehow everyone has contributed to helping me take the next step on an emotional, on a level, on a business transactional level, on every single level. And this is what has made 2024, with all these challenges, for me, it was a successful year, and I'm very grateful for it. And it has helped us build the proper foundations in order for us to take the next step and build and scale bigger. So the plan for us is last year was build the platform, get the name out of the market, try and get as much creatives on the platform organically and start populating. So we were very successful in doing that. We have over 350 creatives on the platform, over 2,000 pieces of content, and we know we have a very young library. But the idea is that we wanted to start generating revenue for the audiences, for the creative community that we have.
Yes.
So we, through our
so that they're encouraged to join.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
to stay.
We
Exactly.
closed the year generating over 100,000 dirhams in revenue for different creatives.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's only in a few months, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you started in May.
I started in May, and even that part we started later in Q4. So the market is very much in demand of good creatives, and they want the access. So this is why for every for every creative that we worked with, we didn't just channel one job, we channeled actually multiple jobs. And this is what has been very exciting. And this is why we're building both, because both of these platforms or these business
Sides.
models, yes, are needed in order to one fuel the other.
Very nice.
So if I may add to what Emad just said is, so at Mohtawa, yes, the main problem that we are solving is the cultural relevance, but also, and this is from the business side, but from the creative side, which are the people who are driving the creative industry, unfortunately, they are often undercompensated. They don't have enough tools and resources to reach their proper audiences or potential customers. They, with the available stock content platforms that are out there, they get fraction of the price of the profit that the companies make. So one of the things that Anna, for me personally, stood out the most when I was having my first conversation with Emad was his insistence on empowerment and fair compensation and actually creating these opportunities, because he's been in the industry. He knows
the pain.
He gets
He
it.
knows the pain. And honestly, it's super fair. And the way, I'm sure you guys know, and I'm not in the marketing and advertising field, but I'm assuming that خلاص, once you get a hold of a good creative, you hold on to them.
with
من
dear
كبش
life.
فيه بداينا
Exactly.
With dear
وسننا
life.
يعني wine and dine.
Don't go.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
leave me. خلاص, once you understand my
which
brain.
is great for them, but at the same time, there are so much talent
صح.
out there that unfortunately might not have the same resources or
Maybe they don't get
connections.
noticed.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
There's
They're
too
actually
much
giving them a
clutter.
lot of space to also be present and,
Yeah.
and be also picked up by other brands.
Absolutely.
So it's a very nice
And the
wheel.
access to brands that they're having is not just local brands. They have everything, the entire range from local to global brands that they get to engage with and create content with.
Yeah.
So it's the access that they're getting through Mohtawa is literally,
You're opening doors.
They get a seat
Literally
at the
opening
table,
doors.
which they probably didn't have before.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, it's actually the very, very same value, you can say, of why marketing talks happened in the first place and why we're doing this podcast, actually. Because it's exactly the same. The only difference is that we don't have a library, we have these videos. And we want to highlight the different talents. Plus, we want to highlight the brands that could help those talents. So basically, maybe we can have so many people from the community. We have a lot of content creators on the community. They can start joining Mohtawa.
so content creators. I've been discussing this term specifically because content creators are the people who that get in front of the camera and they speak to the camera.
No, I mean actual photographers.
So those people are creatives, and this is why I call them content creatives. Hopefully it picks up, but
Content creatives. Okay, content creators.
It took me a while to pick it up.
Photographers, videographers,
Yes.
there are
Audio composers.
everyone. Audio, a voiceover artist, maybe sometimes
Absolutely.
you need. لأنه
so anyone that's involved directly in the production of the asset, but not necessarily being the face
Exactly.
of the asset.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I do have a comment. Have you ever noticed how everything in voiceover, let's say maps or whatever, when you have the audio on, it's English but says everything Arabic wrong, like the names of the streets?
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
This
it's
is
so
like the fun
annoying.
part.
We need to work
Anna,
on
it
this.
just makes me
I know.
laugh.
This is your next project.
Hopefully,
Please.
someday soon.
We have too many bilingual talents who can actually give the directions in English, but at least pronounce ha and a and gha,
Anna, it makes me
properly.
laugh every single time. Like, what? Okay, that's what they mean.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, what the hell are you talking about, Madame Google? No, but seriously, this is something that we need to work on a lot. And I love that we're having this episode and this conversation. Because personally, as Thuraiya, although I speak English, I use English in my work. I actually, at some point, I literally forgot Arabic when I was living in China. And I went back to Lebanon. I couldn't formulate one sentence without thinking for 30 seconds. But I do understand and realize how important it is. We live in an Arab culture.
Yeah.
We live in Arabic countries. No matter how bilingual we can do, no matter how advanced Dubai is and how expat infused and whatever you want to call it, but we're still in an Arabic country. At the end of the day, we have to speak Arabic and we have to write Arabic and we have to put out content in Arabic and market in Arabic and review Arabic and proofread the Arabic and the mistakes that we see
I'm
here.
just gonna call to the irony of doing this whole episode in English when we're talking about Arabic.
But
There
that's
is a
also
reason.
but there's a reason, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's because we want to be inclusive to the people that
Absolutely.
we are listening to the podcast.
And also to
Yes.
show the importance of being included in the conversation.
Because
right?
we Arabs, we know that this is important, but we also want everyone else in the decision-making positions. to hire Arabic speaking
هو
experts.
if I may add as well إنه any brand can use English. Most of the people in the region are educated. They understand. They can read and understand
We
English.
speak different languages, actually.
But as an Arab person, if I see something in my native language, I would automatically 1000% like it more, relate to it more. And if I see two different versions of the video or the photo or whatever, I'm automatically gonna relate to it more.
The Arabic one.
It doesn't mean they cannot reach their audience, but they're not able to connect properly
Resonate.
with them.
It's
Exactly.
either
يعني مثلاً
too
if-
literal, like it's like Google Translate and it's soulless, or it is I don't know, it's just broken and it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yes,
sense.
exactly. No, actually, this is very important. لأنه حتى in the dialect of every country, it plays a role. So as Lebanese,
in different
if we hear
regions of the same
something,
country,
or if we see something that is written in Lebanese Arabic, we will relate to it more than a Jordanian maybe seeing that same ad.
Yeah,
But
to
at
some
the same
degree,
time,
yes.
a Jordanian seeing an ad said in a Jordanian or Palestinian dialect, they will relate to it more.
Yeah.
Now, I relate to both because I lived in both countries. I'm Lebanese, I lived in Jordan.
But here's the thing: when I, as an Arab, I read something that's targeting me in Arabic and it's written poorly, I am 100% guaranteed to be turned off.
Yes,
Turned off.
yes,
Like you couldn't ask someone who speaks the language or is from the culture to
at least anyone on the street
proofread
to
it.
proofread or to
when
review
it backfires,
this.
it backfires.
The amount of times I see billboards with like bad spelling or terrible
حتى
grammar,
billboards that are actually printed with like the letters written like
that's-
they're not even connected to each other and from left to right, not from right to left. I've seen this. I just showed you a translation. Eau de toilette. I mean, seriously. It just needed one copywriter, one reviewer, one person to just read it and say, this is wrong, this is not hard.
kindness and compassion.
So thank you so much, guys, for whatever you're doing. Seriously, yani, and it's really important. But I think
it's all right, Emad.
No. Nothing happens
and
from
we're
one
here
person.
to support as well. By the
Nothing
way,
happens from one person. Every single person.
إيد واحدة ما بتزقف.
Exactly. It's in the entire support system that have been provided by everyone I know, including and not limited to Mira. Whenever she hears me, I want to quit and I don't want to do this anymore. Exactly. All the way to everyone, honestly, that has come across my path. I'm very fortunate for them.
يعني في challenges.
100%. There is 100 challenges happening on us every single day basis.
Yeah.
And
What's been your most
worst
difficult?
day.
Most difficult. Is it like worst day?
The most difficult one I have faced was last year. We had run out of runway, and I was hoping for one investment to come through. It was the last one. Literally on the last day of the run rate, the investor calls me and we have a conversation. And she's like, I believe in what you do and what you're doing. I believe in you. The only thing is I'm not ready to risk my investment like that yet. So she pulled out and I had to get on a call with my team. We were a team of 6 at the time, majority of them sitting in Lebanon, and I had to tell them, guys, I'm extremely sorry. This is the situation that has happened. We have one of two options here. Either you decide that you want to leave, and I completely understand, and I'm supporting you 100%. Or you decide that you want to continue on this path. This is a startup, high gain, high reward, high risk. And if you decide that you want to be part of this, I promise that I'll make it worth your while. Out of the six of them were very kind and very supportive. Shout out to Muhammad, to Talal, to Dua, Anthony, and Afif. And they were like, no, we're with you 100%. We believe in you. Wow. We believe in this. We believe in this, and we want to go all the way through. And subhanallah, every single month, it just happened that we were able to make it fully with sorry, no, it's okay. Make it and thrive every single month. Towards the end of the year, we actually did not only survive, we thrived, and we had managed to get clients on board that invested in us, and we are here today.
صح عليك, man. That's a sign of very good culture, by the way.
Bravo.
I'm very glad. I'm very fortunate for them.
Bravo.
هو
Shout out.
to add to what Emad said, because you asked him, sorry, what has been challenging. So I work a lot with founders, and I know it's a little bit unfortunate لأنه currently there's a lot of مش currently, it's been happening for a while يعني, the culture of yes I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to start my startup ما بعرف شو, and this is no,
A
it's
few months later,
a few months, it's a brilliant, interesting, dynamic industry to be in. It's a beautiful ecosystem that I'm personally very fortunate and lucky to have been able to enter يعني, at an early age. But at the same time, it's not all rainbows and sunshine.
well, it's not for everyone.
It's
Entrepreneurship
definitely
just
not for everyone.
Takes
It's
grit.
definitely
It's
not
the
for
most
everyone.
difficult
Grit.
thing a person can endure.
I know.
Yeah.
I've been doing
Oh,
it.
from
Yeah.
yeah, I
I've
know.
been doing it, and I did
Yeah.
it in 3 countries. I've been
Yeah.
doing it, and it's not easy. Not as I said, ups and downs.
The downs
not
are
all rainbows,
downs.
and the downs are very down.
They're
like
downs.
very, very.
They're
And every
valleys.
time you go downer.
Yeah. إيه بتقولي إنه this is the downest, بيجي
And then next
downer.
year you get like, oh, I didn't expect to be that down.
Yeah. Well, honestly, there's a lot of like Emad said, and there's a sense of responsibility when you have a team that's dependent on you. That
That's the
their
scariest part.
That's
yes,
the
their families
scariest.
are dependent
Exactly.
on
You know, you
their
have
livelihoods.
families يعني إنه برقبتك. It's not easy. Other than the market is challenging, the whole globe is going through a freaking crisis at the
Everything
moment.
is going
يعني,
very
إنه-
fast and crazy.
Upside
yeah,
down.
Exactly.
Exactly, the upside down. So it's not you. There are specific qualities in a founder that have to be there.
To be resilient,
To be resilient.
strong,
They need to
stubborn
be
enough to go
actually
forward.
not stubborn, lean. So they need to, because a lot of times in the startup journey, you need to change your opinions about something, change your strategy
Yes,
about
definitely.
something.
And I meant stubborn and خلاص I want to do this and I want to do this.
Conviction.
You find
Like-
a way. You
Conviction,
need to find a
conviction
way.
and the
I'm waking up
resilience.
today and I'm doing this.
Anna, to me, it's there's always a way. Even if you have to do it manually, there's always a way. If you need something done, you will figure it out. And this is one of the most important and critical
Traits.
exactly. Sorry, I was looking for that. I was thinking of the word traits. You guys want me to speak fully English, so
عادي فيك تحكي اللي بدك
so
إياه.
it's one of the most important traits لأنه these are the people who make it. People who say I'm gonna make it happen regardless. It can happen tomorrow, it can happen in a month, but I'm gonna find a way. And this is what Emad has been showing as well for the past year.
So you checked all the boxes.
I hope to continue to check all the boxes. It's a
Inshallah.
journey, inshallah.
We'll add a couple more.
هلا
I'm
ما هي
sure.
هيك بصير ما هو حتى بالبيرسونال جروث انت بتكون حاطط
Yeah.
target for yourself انه by this day I'll
Yep.
be doing 1 2 3 I'll get this certificate, this degree or whatever, and then you do an upgrade for next year and then you get another upgrade. And the same thing happens with entrepreneurship, and the same thing
Absolutely.
happens with marketing. The same thing happens
but
with brand building.
Oftentimes you end up doing things that just come your way because you have to. So you have to also be adaptable.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You have to
exactly.
be lean. Yep.
And I always say they say survival of the fittest. I say that it should be survival of the most adaptive.
Agreed.
The more that you adapt to any market changes, the more you can survive.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
طيب, what is one word of advice بما أننا عم نحكي عن entrepreneurship journey that you want to give to entrepreneurs now?
Entrepreneurs, surround yourself with the right support system. That's everything from
Get
friends.
on the right podcast.
Exactly. Everything from friends, family to friends, family to
Friends and family is very important.
It's
to
extremely
believe in you.
important.
Yeah.
Extremely, because just the simple word of don't worry about it. Worst case scenario, we'll have your back, and that
Yeah.
You
alone,
crash our sofa.
that alone gives you the mental safety that the worst is not really bad. Like yes, I can sleep on someone's sofa for a couple of months.
I'm not gonna
until-
get homeless or whatever. Yeah.
And just the other day I was speaking with another entrepreneur, and we were talking about how lucky we are that worst case scenario, God forbid, this doesn't work out, you can always go back to finding a corporate job. And
You have a good CV. Yeah.
exactly. And you'll always be that person who took a bet on themselves.
Even me.
And that alone shows a lot, in my opinion.
It's
Hopefully
better.
that
It's
never
better to
happens.
say
No.
I tried. It's
Absolutely.
better to say I tried than what if I had done this.
Yes, but in order to try, you have to really calculate how adamant and how convinced you are about the idea that you're chasing. Because if you think a job is hard, a job is a piece of cake in
Yeah.
comparison.
لا, you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about anything. Just worry about doing your job and going
You
home
just
at
show
the
up.
end of the day.
You show up and you do
get
work.
your job done and leave.
I mean, you solve problems, but you
Yeah.
still have to just, you
Yeah.
know,
In
feed them on.
The mental
you
safety-
will have to
Absolutely.
worry about the team. You will have to worry about the health
Yeah.
of the company. You will
The
have to worry
investors.
about the investors, the partners, the happiness of the clients. Every single person involved. Yeah, I know.
I'm sure
I
you
know.
do. I'm sure you do.
You have to remember when to renew your license so that you don't get a fine.
Don't worry, they remind you. Don't worry, they will remind you. When there's money involved, you'll be reminded.
Even your bank will remind you that there is something. Yeah.
You spent less this month. Are you okay?
لا يعني it's not an easy journey. يعني I'm not just saying this because I am an entrepreneur myself, but because I have seen entrepreneurs. Actually, my father is my role model in this. He is, I'm not going to say an entrepreneur per se, but like a business person. He started his own journey from scratch. And just like us, I think, خلاص, no, he went for a job at some point and then he quit and he went back to start from scratch. So this part, yes, the adaptability. And we can still manage and we can still do projects here and there and consulting. And so I think it's a very interesting journey. Inshallah, ya Rab, you will not have to go back to a job. And what you're doing is really nice. And honestly, I wouldn't have called you to come on the podcast if I didn't believe in you.
I appreciate that.
Honestly speaking. شو عندك كمان أسئلة؟
I have one last question. With AI, generative AI being
knew you were
now,
gonna ask this
it had to.
Yeah.
You know, how do you maintain you know, a large catalog, let's say, of original content when basically the alternative is a prompt away? Not so easy, but you know what I mean.
So I'm very glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
So today, when I'm having this conversation with multiple business owners, when we speak to the small to medium-sized businesses, they're like, "Yeah, we don't care. It's just if it works, I'll use it." When you speak to global brands and agencies that have proper IP policies and basically they're protecting the human rights so far, or the creative rights so far, no generative AI content can be used in any commercial.
They have to actually get the license. I remember back in agencies, we had to buy the license for use in XYZ
Exactly,
countries.
and with generative AI, you cannot get the license because you don't know who's the original author of the content, and therefore, and because it's trained on public data, it is not. It's not commercialized. It's not commercializable yet, and therefore, still, whenever you're working with anyone, still very much everyone is reliant on human generated content in order to use further ads. Now, when you look at the creative side of things and what are the uses of AI in there, you have the creative process that starts everything from the ideation, production, post-production, and then the distribution. AI has been doing brilliantly in the ideation because you don't need to sketch anything or storyboard it. You can easily prompt it and generate it. In the production,
It's still.
You still need the human element.
It's not there.
It's still behind. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
In the production,
but
it's not there.
It's moving very fast.
It is moving fast, but even though it's moving fast, it's not adoptable as fast,
Yes.
and that's the challenge.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And the third one is with Adobe, people are using AI in post-production brilliantly. With CapCut, you're able to edit videos a lot faster than before.
It used to take months to edit a video. Now it's taking, few seconds.
Whoever is doing it that in months is not doing it right.
Back in the day, I mean, like a long time ago.
Yes.
I'm old. I'm talking a long time ago. I'm much older than you.
Yeah, all right. So to that, even though AI is here and it's doing brilliant work, still the commercial world is not ready to adopt it as fast as it is developing. And there is no world that's going to happen where AI overtakes human creativity. It's always going to be human and AI.
It will supplement.
Absolutely. It's human and AI together working towards generating more. And this is why I said earlier in the episode, we're in an era where if today we're producing billions and billions pieces of content per minute, we're going to produce trillions. And this is where mixed reality is going to come in. And this is where the extended formats are going to come into place.
So is this you saying Mohtawa will never have an AI section?
Oh, no, definitely we will.
Okay.
But the AI section is going to be used in ethical, commercialized ways, not in generating without crediting back the sources, for example.
Of course.
Oh wow!
But there's a lot of new talent now investing time and effort in the prompting art, basically, and I think I mean, the outcomes are just phenomenal sometimes.
And also, it will also have AI functionalities. So, Anna, I love this topic because, like, I remember a couple of maybe when was ChatGPT live? Yمكن a year and a
November
half ago.
22. Yeah.
Yeah. So my mom was like asking me about it and so on. And obviously there's concerns because like she watches stuff on YouTube and whatever.
Fear
Robots are
mongering.
taking over
Fear
and
mongering.
Y2K
يعني يا ماما شو
and like
حيصير؟
all the
So I always tell people no, it's not here to take over anything. It's here, use it wisely just to enhance and make your life better, your processes better.
So you're saying?
The AI functionalities that will be available on Mohtawa is not here to replace the creatives. It's to make their lives easier.
Yeah.
To make both parties' lives easier, to make it more personalized, more there, basically, which is applicable to any AI functionalities or products that we use now. And we use ChatGPT, for example, to instead of us doing the research, let's say for 3 hours, it does it on our behalf quickly.
Literally, I used it today just to because I wanted to think of a word and I couldn't think of
Same,
it.
by the way.
And I literally wrote it and I was like, okay, yeah, I got it. I got the word. خلاص. That's all I wanted, just one word.
But
يعني, to
literally, I
remember
just,
it.
I spoke, I'm like, what do you call when someone does X, Y, Z? And it gave, I'm like, yes, that's what it is. Thank
Maybe
you.
this is a topic for another day. AI.
Actually, we are having a
Oh, yeah?
topic,
Okay.
most likely very
AI.
soon.
Let's talk about AI next time.
Yeah, we're going to be talking
Sure.
about AI in marketing. It's going to be one of the topics of one of the episodes.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I do have one last question for us before we wrap up this episode. What's one word of advice the three of you would give to the marketing community, the marketing talks? I'll start with you.
Cultural relevance.
سكرنا الحلقة
On
خلاص.
point.
غلبك يا ميرا. لا شو بدك تفكري؟ تشات جي بي تي على التليفون.
Actually, I don't have it on my phone because I'm trying to be conscious about the
You're
nature.
thinking, yeah.
هلا أنا unfortunately I don't have the marketing relevance.
It's a community. It's a community at the end of the day
Honestly,
watching us.
One thing I would say is be bold. Don't play it safe. Safe is boring now.
Yes.
The more authentic they are to themselves, to their characters, to their beliefs, their backgrounds and experiences, the better they shine and the better they stand out. Whether they're working at a company, whether they're building their own thing, they want to be entrepreneurs, whatever it is. It's incredible how things align to you and opportunities open up when you know what you want and you go for it.
Bravo.
It's
Bravo.
incredible.
I think it relates
Well
to
said.
him and his journey as
100%.
well. Yeah.
هو secretly my inspiration.
I think definitely I would double down on in a sea of sameness. Please
Absolutely.
stand out. But I think my thing with marketing nowadays is that I don't see marketers doing two things, right? Knowing the audience they're talking to, so understanding your user needs, pain points, aspirations, dreams, desires,
It's
whatever
one
they
of the
are.
topics of one of the episodes.
Please
as well.
understand your
Yes.
user. Please
Yep.
speak to them and use their language, not
This is the
ChatGPT
cultural
jargon.
relevance.
Speak to
Not
them.
jargon.
Do user
Exactly.
interviews.
Exactly. أنا وياكي, by the way, we're on the
But
same.
this is how we connect. This is how I know Badr.
Know your users. One and two. And now I forgot the second point.
Sorry. That's on me.
Next
that's
time.
On me.
Next time نجيبك لحالك.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for
Stay
next
tuned.
episode.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Emad and
Thank you
Mira.
for having
Thank
us.
you. Thank you, Badr, for co-hosting this awesome
Thank you
episode.
for having me.
Thank you for tuning into the third episode. By the way, this is the third episode of
okay.
the Marketing Talks podcast. Please do leave your comments in the comments section if you have any suggestions or feedback, or if you would like to connect with any of the talents with us. And stay tuned for the future episodes.